Story 1. Hinge is the only app one have found that actually works. All of my dates in the last year have been through it. Tinder is mainly for self-validation or hookups. Bumble is not great, in my opinion, and the other apps do not have much activity in my area. I am in a somewhat rural area, so this could change depending on your location. Story 2. I felt that Hinge was the only reasonable dating app, since you could start a conversation without matching, and the prompts and amount of text allowed you to give more detail. It was the only app one ever got dates on, and I somehow met my wife on it. Story 3, of course, Tinder. Otherwise, how could I get investment recommendations for the cryptocurrency market from Asian women? Story 4. They are all designed to extract money from desperate people. Story 5. I met my wife on Hinge. As a side note, it is actually surprising that the majority of dating apps are owned by one company. Story 6. You are better off meeting women in real life, even if those meetings go poorly, than reducing the experience to swiping through profiles. Story 7. They all seem to be owned by the same source, or everyone has become a creature that milks people dry, using the occasional match to give it the appearance of legitimacy. I would say stay away from them all, but I guess Tinder has the most traffic. Story 8. Dating apps are designed to keep you paying for them, which means they do not work. If you are not at least an average to above average looking woman, you are just wasting your time. Story 9. The apps change every few years. Once they become popular enough, they get infested by bots and fake or inactive accounts. But even among the good ones, each app has its own vibe and culture. You have to stay up to date with the latest apps and use the ones that are relevant to your interests and personality. That being said, I met my partner 3 years ago on Hinge. As someone in my 30s, I was looking for something stable that could lead to marriage, not hookups. This does not mean Hinge is easy. It is like any other app. You will likely send thousands of messages and not hear back from more than 90% of them. My cousin began dating a while back. The advice I gave him was to use the apps only during short breaks, such as when you use the bathroom. This helps you message nearly every day while limiting the time you spend on the app to a healthy amount. It is easy to obsess and spend hours at a time looking at profiles. Do not do that to yourself. Good luck to anyone who is searching. Story 10. I am a 50-year-old male, if it matters. I hate to give Meta any credit, but the Facebook dating app was by far the best I used. I never encountered an obvious fake, and interactions seemed less chaotic. I met my partner on it as well. Story 11. It is Hinge. All of my short and long-term relationships since 2019 came from it. If you do not get matches, rework your profile. Story 12. I find women on Hinge are much more open to actually chatting for a few days and then going on a date. You have to be patient, kind, and generally not unpleasant, which seems to be something many men struggle with. Tinder still works if you learn to recognize the bots and sellers. It is obvious. Swiping left on them will boost your rating and you will get more matches. You need to be on Tinder for a few days or weeks for this effect to take place. If you are going to be impatient, watch pornography instead. Bumble does not work for me and attracts a different type of woman in my opinion. Your mileage may vary. No other application is worth downloading. Having rewarding relationships with women is an investment that takes time and effort. Whether you are looking for a wife or a quick hookup, dating has not gotten harder. It is actually easier, and dating applications are part of that. The problem is that people have become impatient and rude. Change your approach and you will have more success. Story 13. Go outside. Online dating apps are a soul-sucking pit of ego death and sadness. Story 14. Hinge is by far the best and most popular dating app for young people. Everything else pales in comparison. It has a sleek user interface and a high-quality algorithm. Story 15. I met my wife on Match. Paid sites are legitimate. If you are paying $60 or $70 to subscribe to the service, you are probably serious about dating and do not just want the swipes and social media nonsense. Try Match or eHarmony. Story 16. I was on Hinge for around 2 weeks before I met someone. I matched with 15 or more people and went on a handful of first dates. I do not find myself attractive. I am a little overweight and shorter than 5 feet 10 inches. I have no idea how I got so much attention, but it happened. Story 17. In Los Angeles, I had around 30 dates from Hinge, 0 from Tinder, 0 from Bumble, and 1 from Coffee Meets Bagel in a 6-month period. Hinge eventually led to marriage. The ability to start a conversation makes setting up dates much easier. I would start a conversation based on a picture, then ask if they want to go ice skating at a specific time on a specific day and at a specific location. I like ice skating. This worked pretty well. Profiles usually show a general location, so I would look for the ice rink closest to them. Story 18. Hinge is the best in my opinion. I met my fiancé on Hinge a few years ago. The profile prompts and the ability to message without matching make it better than most other apps. You can have a more personal, tailored conversation from the start, creating a better first impression. I also tried Tinder and Bumble. Both were awful by comparison. Story 19. Real talk. The application matters maybe 30%. The other 70% is killer professional photos rather than selfies, a strong profile biography and prompts, and avoiding sounding desperate. Story 20. Hinge is the only dating application in which I have found some success. People generally put more effort into their profiles and show some personality. It is the only application I did not feel was a straight-up meat market. Story 21. Actually, wanting to improve your dating life is much cooler than merely talking about it. Story 22. Hinge is my favorite. I have had success elsewhere, but Hinge lets you build a more interesting profile with polls, voice notes, and so on. You can also comment on photos, which helps you showcase your personality. However, you still need hobbies and a genuine personality. You will not find those on a dating app alone. Story 23. I met my wife on Hinge in 2020. I don't know what it is like now, but it seemed more geared toward professional individuals compared with Tinder. Bumble gave me very poor results for dates. Story 24. Hinge is still the undisputed champion in 2026 for men who want real dates and relationships. Prompts reveal personality, and women actually respond to thoughtful comments rather than just hey. It's designed to be deleted approach weeds out endless swiping. Tinder is best for hookups if you are very attractive. Bumble is good if you prefer women to message first, but expect low response rates. Pro tip: use your best photos, write witty openers, and delete the app after 3 months if it is not working. Apps are tools, not magic. Improve yourself in real life as well. Story 25. I met my wife on Bumble 2 years ago, and I also became good at talking to women in person. Story 26. I have accounts on Tinder and Hinge. I had one match on Tinder, but she immediately unmatched me without any conversation. I got one match on Hinge. She is cool but lives hours away from me with little chance we will ever meet. Business as usual for me on dating apps in 2026. Story 27. I met the love of my life on Tinder, but that was after about 6 years of consistent failure on dating apps. I do not recommend using dating apps. The odds are heavily against you. You need to be very attractive and pay money to get matches. The entirety of who you are is reduced to 4 or 5 photographs. It is not a good way to meet people. Story 28. Dating apps are like every other garbage app designed to suck you dry of money. I believe that if it's meant to be, you'll find someone. Go outside and hang out. I'm not trying to be a dick. I hope I don't come off that way. Story 29. Dating apps were purchased by alcohol companies and deliberately designed to fail, encouraging people to return to bars to meet potential mates. Story 30. I met my wife on Tinder a little over 4 years ago. I proposed on our 2nd anniversary, and we married on our 4th anniversary. Story 31. I am happily engaged. I gave up and reconnected with my high school sweetheart. That was easy. Maybe try reconnecting with someone. Go for round 2. Story 32. I have tried every app. Raya and Hinge had the most conversations. Bumble was atrocious. No one responded. Tinder lacked quality. Every other app had people who seemed unreliable or no one near my major city. Warning about Hinge. After a failed situationship in which I asked if they wanted to date, and they said they were not looking for a relationship, I created a new Hinge account after 6 months. I was banned instantly. Dealing with customer support took months. I had to verify my identity by sending my passport and driver's license. It took months before I spoke to an actual human rather than received an artificial intelligence response. Story 33. Coffee meets bagel. The layout led to more matches and more dates than other apps. I met my wife through Coffee Meets Bagel. Story 34. Depends on location, but generally Tinder to Hinge to Bumble represents a spectrum from hookups to serious relationships. If you are in a country where English is not the primary language, Bumble is where you will find English speakers. Story 35. Do activities you are interested in. Also talk to and flirt with women in the office. I do not recommend dating people on your team or those you work closely with, but if they leave the company, you can contact them. Story 36. I haven't dated online in 8 years. I got married thanks to OkCupid. The best way to figure it out is to try all the free apps. I used OkCupid, Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, Coffee Meets Bagel, and a few others I can't remember. Set them up, send some messages like some profiles and see what happens. Story 37. I have not dated online in 8 years. I got married because of OkCupid. The best way to figure this out is to try all the free dating applications. I tried OkCupid, Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, Coffee Meets Bagel, and a few others I cannot remember. Set up profiles on all of them, send some messages like some profiles and see what happens. Story 38. Dating apps have no incentive to actually connect you with someone you want to date. Their incentive is to keep you on the app. I'm not saying you should not use them, just something to keep in mind. Story 39. Hinge was the best for me, but ever since it was bought by Match Group, the quality has declined significantly after the coronavirus disease 2019 pandemic. There were far fewer matches. I recently deleted the app because I was getting no matches, let alone being seen by other profiles. Story 40. I live in a big city, and getting off dating apps late last year has made a big difference in my dating life. I dated someone in my running club who was probably the best connection I have had in 10 years, but we could not make it work due to compatibility issues. Since then, I have met 3 or 4 people with real mutual interests, so we will see where those go. I think dating apps work for some people, and I am not one of them. In just a few months, I have seen more real interest than I saw on dating apps in a couple of years. Dating apps take energy. Being ghosted, left on read, or otherwise ignored has real-life effects and can take a toll on self-esteem. This is a public service announcement. If dating apps have not been working for you, try engaging through other avenues. Story 41. This is not a dating app, but a tool to help with dating apps. I found it useful. It is called BetterOpner. It helps with conversations and reviews your dating profile. Story 42. I do not know what it is like now, but I had decent success with eHarmony a while back. I tried other sites too, but the service was more geared toward finding a partner rather than hookup culture. I stopped using the site after I met my wife there 8 years ago, and we are still going strong. Story 43. Hinge and Bumble reward effort and clarity rather than endless swiping, which improves your dating life. Story 44. My data is a bit out of date, as I stopped dating at the start of 2025 after finding a long-term partner. My general thought is that if you limit yourself to a single app, you are shooting yourself in the foot. I used Tinder, Bumble, OkCupid, Hinge, and Boo, and I got dates and hookups from them. I tried other apps, but they did not work as well. Tinder is where I met my current girlfriend, and OkCupid gave me my longest relationship apart from that. Treat your profile and photos as a skill. I worked constantly on fine-tuning my profile and became skilled at taking pictures with a tripod. Story 45. I built Plug, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store, to offer a different approach to connecting with others online. We are very small, so we do not have many matches yet, but with more users and time, I believe it will be great. It's like asking someone to recommend people who would be a good match. No swiping. Please check it out. I would welcome feedback. Story 46. None of them. By 2026, the enshittification of dating applications is complete. They are designed to keep you single and swiping, so you continue paying for their premium, gold, and platinum tiers. The best application now is Google Maps for finding a local running club or a cooking class. Story 47. I am on 6 dating applications and none of them seem to work. I rarely get likes. Friends helped me set up or rework my profiles. When I do get likes, I cannot seem to cross paths with or swipe back on people who like me. For example, I have had the same 10 likes on Tinder for 4 weeks, and I have not managed to connect with or remove any of them. My best guess is that they may be outside my 50-mile range, so I am not seeing them. Many people recommend Hinge, so I might try that again. I have been single for 5 years and I feel like a failure. Story 48. The Harris Teeter wine bar in my area should add a dating feature to its app. Many women drink there. Story 49. I met my fiancé on Hinge. This was 5 years ago, and I am sure dating apps have changed a lot since then. It worked for me and 2 of my siblings who are both married to people they matched with. Story 50. Ladies and gentlemen, consider writing a diary that presents our values and goals and describes the type of person we are seeking instead of adding many pictures. Story 51. I do not know the landscape now. I have been with my wife for a decade. We met on OkCupid. I liked that the surveys you took could give you a match percentage based on similar answers. Story 52. Tinder became a hookup app, so I moved to Fruits. The app is only available in a few countries, but I like it because you can choose the category you want to date in, for example, hookup, just a drink and we'll see how it goes, or looking for a relationship. That's why I like Fruits. Story 53. When I used dating apps, Hinge was the best. I had nice conversations and went on actual dates. Bumble was mediocre. I went on 1 date from it. OkCupid is full of automated accounts. Tinder is primarily a hookup app. It is not for dating. Story 54. I'm in South Florida and an average-looking person. I have never paid for a premium version. I have had success with Hinge, Bumble, and Duet, which I had not heard of before. I have not had any success on Tinder. The people who liked me never show up while swiping. I created accounts on most other dating apps, but they are mostly bots or catfish accounts. Story 55. You could try Ashley Madison. I heard it works well for about $200. But honestly, get a hobby and attend local events. You will meet like-minded people and make friends you can hit it off with. Story 56. Based on my experience, I used Tinder for about 6 months and Hinge for about 2 months. Hinge worked best. That's where I found my current girlfriend. Tinder was less effective. Story 57. Tinder, but you have to use the profile your mom would make for you. My son enjoys a nice soup and has never been to jail. Instant husband material. Story 58. I have only used Bumble once. I met up with a woman who was just looking for casual sex. And then I finally met my current girlfriend. Story 59. If you are trying to improve your dating life, try getting off the apps. It will help your mental health too. Story 60. Whichever application is the newest and has the fewest inactive profiles. Story 61. As someone who checked in on the applications every 3 months or so for the past few years before giving up, I found they have become worse since Match acquired them. Hinge is fine, but it has moved into predatory areas. A 1-hour profile feature costs the equivalent of 1 hour of minimum wage in my area. If you are not near the top for looks and career, you will amass a collection of tumbleweeds in your inbox. I have stopped using the applications completely and started doing things I enjoy, which has improved my life and my dating life much more than screaming into the abyss. Work out a little, get a decent haircut, get out of the house and have fun. Your odds are much better. Story 62. Tinder, but only if you use a photo of yourself holding a puppy you do not own. It is about the vibe, not the truth. Story 63. Hinge for quality and conversations. Bumble is fine but can be hit or miss. Tinder is the largest pool but also the most chaotic. Story 64. If you are interested in kink, try FetLife and view local personals. People are open about their interests. Personal ads show when someone is thoughtful and makes an effort versus when they are simply bored and horny. Story 65. Dating apps are awful. They are designed to take your money and offer only a small glimmer of hope. I have had better luck adding people suggested by Facebook and messaging them to ask for a date than I have had with any dating app. Story 66. Hinge feels like it gives you more to say. It is how I met my girlfriend. Facebook dating had the odd behavior of showing people you might like to meet, but they all live 100 miles away for some reason. Story 67. Honestly, most dating apps have not changed much. Hinge still seems best if you want actual dates, but the apps alone will not improve your dating life. What helped me more was working on conversation skills and confidence off the apps. Low-pressure practice matters a lot. Tools like Halcyon Chat can help with that by letting you practice real, supportive conversations so the apps do not feel like the whole game. Story 68. If you have qualifying attributes, subcommunity sites might work. Examples include religious affiliation sites, Black People Meet, Farmers Only, and similar niche services. Otherwise, you will be wading through many strangers. If you are highly generic, the next question is what kind of man you are. If your attributes fall below the top 10% among men, you will probably struggle. Story 69. I met the man I am seeing on Bumble. I matched with several men based on their profiles, but he stood out because he asked me out almost immediately. He suggested a day, offered to meet near me, and when I accepted, he planned a proper date instead of a quick coffee. I strongly recommend avoiding too much back and forth. Show genuine, respectful interest and make a concrete plan right away. Story 70. It is unfortunate to hear how bad it is now. I met my first wife on America Online's dating service 27 years ago, and my current wife 18 and a half years ago on Plenty of Fish. Both services were completely free at the time and very cool. Story 71. Have you ever gone to a grocery store and looked at a sad, picked-over bin of produce? That is pretty much what your dating options on dating applications look like. The only things you will find there are drama, sadness, and baggage. Story 72. They all give women the illusion of having unlimited options, which sends their hypergamous nature into hyperdrive. Story 73. Bumble. Women message first, which often leads to higher quality conversations and less flakiness. It is great if you are respectful and thoughtful. Story 74. Unironically, delete them all and go outside. No, I haven't had any success at all. It makes sense because I'm short, ugly, and apparently I look like a certain type of person women don't like. Even so, I found that I'd rather keep my sanity and whatever remains of my self-esteem by avoiding the absolute garbage of online dating. Trust me on this one. Just don't. Story 75. I think almost every other option is better than dating apps unless you have an exceptionally good profile. Story 76. Sorry, I cannot help create or revise content that insults or targets people based on gender, sexual orientation, or appearance. Here is a neutral, respectful version suitable for text-to-speech. Bumble. A dating app where women often initiate conversations. Many users seek relationships, friendships, or networking. Hinge. Focuses on detailed profiles and conversation prompts to encourage meaningful connections. Users include people of diverse sexual orientations and gender identities. Tinder. A swipe-based app popular for casual dating and meeting new people. User intentions range from casual to serious. Seeking. An app oriented toward relationship arrangements where some users offer financial support or benefits. Expectations and agreements vary. OkCupid. Uses in-depth questionnaires and compatibility questions to match people with similar values and interests. Story 77. Go to a bar and do it the old-fashioned way. No catfishing or flaking if everything is already there. Story 78. How I had luck. 1. Therapy. Work on yourself. Be happy and confident with who you are without needing someone else to fill a void. 2. Have real standards. Do not play games. Know what you want and stick to it. Find someone who will enrich your life and does not need you to fill a void. 3. If you are happy with points 1 and 2, you will not need to make your life revolve around dating and can let it take a natural course. 4. Only interact with people who put legitimate effort into their profiles. 5. The app or platform can differ from person to person. I personally had luck with apps like OkCupid because many other apps encourage low-effort profiles or have limitations. Story 79. A new app for Albanians was released a month ago. It is called Dashroj and is available on the Apple App Store, on the Google Play Store, and on the web at dashroj.com. Story 80. If you cannot get a date on Tinder, the app is not the problem. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.